Join us now beneath the radiant glow of heavenly presence, where every breath becomes a prayer. If you've ever wondered what hidden schemes your chosen companion has been plotting, brace yourself for utter chaos. I'm about to unmask each calculated, covert maneuver they've executed while you've been relaxing in complacency. Their audacious gall will leave you absolutely gobsmacked. When you at last grasp that their darkest intrigues have only honed your strength, while they crumble like brittle clay under pressure, that revelation will be their ruin. All the while, they lurked in the background like puppeteers poised to yank your strings the moment you wavered, eager to watch you plead for mercy. Every contingency was sketched in their hidden playbook, every trap laid with surgical precision. They were certain they'd located every hidden fuse that would spark your reaction. When you refused to give them the grand collapse they'd been craving, absolutely nothing, they found themselves groping in the dark. Every potential crack in your armor had been plotted with surgical care. Yet your unshakable calm amid their furious maelstrom has pushed them to the brink of madness. They're frantically attempting to figure out what went wrong with their fail-safe strategy, while scratching their heads and calling emergency meetings. The fact that you no longer function on their level is what they don't understand and will never comprehend. They've been playing checkers, but you've moved on to something else entirely. Like rain off an umbrella, the energy they've been flinging at you with such malevolent intent has been bouncing off of you. They cannot understand how you have become untouchable. When they saw that their emotional manipulation strategies were failing, the first crack in their grand scheme emerged. These attacks weren't chosen at random. This was a well-planned effort to take advantage of what they thought were your greatest weaknesses. They looked into your previous relationships, work habits, and spiritual beliefs, recording every instance of uncertainty or suffering you had ever shared. In the same manner that intelligence services create dossiers on foreign assets, they created psychological profiles. This was a collaboration between a couple, based on a shared sense of grandeur and greed. They approached you in unison, believing that their combined strength would undoubtedly overcome your defenses. They presented you with everything you could possibly want in one alluring package: friendship, cooperation, love prospects, and business potential. It resembled a multi-layered trap that was set up to catch you regardless of your direction of travel. This pair's female member was especially sneaky in her approach. Because she claimed to have traveled a similar path, she positioned herself as a mentor, someone who could relate to your spiritual journey. Speaking your language, she discussed manifestation, energy healing, and cosmic consciousness, while holding sinister plans that would make your skin crawl. In order to later recite your genuine ideas as her own knowledge, she studied your articles, films, and social media posts. The partner took a very different approach. One was all spiritual sweetness and light, while the other was the grounded vibe of a realistic businessperson who could help you appropriately market your skills. Together, they depicted reaching millions of people, accumulating wealth, and establishing an empire. Their testimony seemed genuine, their stats were outstanding, and their presentations were polished. Beneath all that luster, however, was a predator who was skilled at spotting and preying on the aspirations of those with spiritual gifts. Yellow heart if you feel the divine love. Now is the time to share. Click the super thank you button on YouTube to contribute $50 or more and help us spread God's blessings. What you do is being watched and serves as a seed, and in the future it will come back to you a millionfold. However, you saw right through it. You knew deep down that the poison beneath the attractive wrapper was real. Although your logical mind might have first questioned the warnings your intuition yelled, you trusted that inner voice. No, you said. Easy, tidy, and conclusive. No reason or explanation is needed. Simply put, no. Their carefully crafted reality was rocked by that rejection. They couldn't understand how you could turn down what they thought was the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The sun, moon, and stars were being offered to you in their minds, and you were treating it like trash. How dare you not see their greatness? The ingratitude, the chutzpah. The spiritual half of this toxic relationship showed the extent of their psychological instability by taking your rejection personally. Being seductive and the spiritual teacher that everyone aspired to be was the foundation of this person's entire persona. Something essential to her worldview was destroyed by your disregard for her attractions. What did it say about her true skills if she was unable to control someone she regarded as being below her spiritual level? The business partner, meanwhile, suffered a completely different kind of ego bruise. He was accustomed to being the most intelligent person present, able to read people like open books and make irresistible proposals. Your quick rejection of his well-thought-out plan felt like a personal jab at his business sense and intelligence. According to their perverted reasoning, you were either too dim to spot genius when you saw it, or you were somehow cheating by using data they were unable to explain. However, your rejection was only the first step in their disintegration. They doubled down because they couldn't accept loss and couldn't comprehend that someone could see right through their facade so easily. They would force your hand if they couldn't have you voluntarily. They would destroy you if you didn't join them. And this is where their actual nature came to light in all its ugliness. Subtly, the escalation started. All of a sudden, people started bringing up your name in discussions that you weren't involved in, always with just enough dismay or worry to sound doubt in their ears. The connotations were obvious to anybody listening, even though they never said anything that could be taken seriously or categorically classified as slander. A sophisticated rumor campaign that would make political operatives envious was methodically undermining your credibility. They were working in the dark, employing techniques that would make your skin crawl if you fully grasped their ramifications, while you slept soundly in your bed, believing in the inherent protection that envelopes all chosen ones. Before you had even begun your day, they were laying their nets of negativity, attempting to sap your vitality and leave you feeling worn out and discouraged. They wanted you to wake up feeling as though a truck had struck you and wondering why life felt so weighty and heavy all of a sudden. Giving $100 is not just money. It is a lamp, a prayer, a new beginning for a soul in darkness. The abilities of the spiritual manipulator went beyond those of a typical psychologist. She was able to project intention over great distances because of her understanding of how energy works. However, she weaponized these capabilities to cause her victim to become confused, exhausted, and spiritually disconnected, whereas a good healer would use them to give love and support. She would meditate for hours, creating energetic attacks that would distance you from your power source rather than pursuing enlightenment. The business partner used what could only be called financial magic to contribute his own kind of warfare. He had contacts in a wide range of businesses and was skilled at putting the appropriate words in the proper ears to block your revenue streams. A client can abruptly decide to postpone a project. Inexplicably, a speaking engagement would be canceled. Solid opportunities would disappear for no apparent reason. Any onlooker would assume it was just plain bad luck, but the pattern was too regular to be accidental. The most pernicious aspect was their attempt to portray it as pure bad luck. They wanted you to doubt your religion, blame the cosmos, and think that your spiritual practices weren't effective. Instead of staying connected to the boundless abundance that is your birthright, they hope you would disconnect from your source of power and instead plug into their matrix of fear and limitation. One of them was very adept in throat chakra warfare, which is the practice of casting spells through voice using words, chanting, and particular intonations. She took great satisfaction in her ability to use her voice alone to start storms and to use suggestion and energetic influence to change reality. Speaking sweetly to your face while hurling insults behind your back. This person has what some would call a forked tongue. Every bit of bad energy they directed at you, every curse they muttered in the shadows, and every effort to sap your vitality all came back to haunt them with compound interest. The universe protects its chosen ones in a way that is incomprehensible to humans. With all the mayhem and devastation bursting around you, it's as if you were that shielded child strolling through a zombie apocalypse, unable to touch a hair on your head. Their financial situation was the first indication that something was seriously wrong with their plan. Paradoxically, the same financial strain they were attempting to inflict on your life started to devastatingly materialize in theirs. Deals that ought to have been assured began to fall through. Customers started to vanish for no apparent reason. After years of consistency, revenue streams abruptly stopped coming in. Their vigorous attacks, meantime, started to resurface with consequences that left them exhausted on a bodily and spiritual level. The spiritual manipulator discovered that she was experiencing the same symptoms she was attempting to induce in you: persistent fatigue, spiritual alienation, and a feeling of cosmic desolation. Her once powerful meditation techniques turned into pointless exercises when she was unable to establish a connection with the spiritual realms she had been tampering with for sinister ends. Dove brother and sister, everything done in faith is returned in God's abundance. You can donate $100 using the Super Thank You button and be part of this divine call. If your roots are connected to Him, your fruit will be blessed. Their financial struggles started to backfire in ways that, if they weren't so disastrous for them, would be hilarious. Somehow, they had persuaded themselves that they could have an impact on your earnings, opportunities, and capacity to prosper in the material world. They may have attempted to get you dismissed. Perhaps they tried to damage business transactions. Perhaps they disseminate rumors that are intended to harm your reputation in the workplace. They were confident they could bankrupt you, no matter how they went about it. Rather, they were drowning in debt, so much so that they were hardly able to make ends meet. Now, one partner is drowning in debts that appear to be growing every day, and the other has practically deserted, leaving their erstwhile ally to deal with the fallout from their mutual illusions on their own. Like morning mist, the very wealth they attempted to take from you has vanished from their own lives. When their true nature was exposed to clients and partners, the business partner's empire, which was based on deceit and exploitation, started to fall apart. Those who had before had complete faith in them began to doubt their intentions and strategies. Contracts were canceled. Partnerships ended. As the universe started to expose the truth behind their well-polished exterior, their years-long reputation fell apart in a matter of weeks. The strain started to rip at the foundation of their partnership as their financial circumstances worsened. Previously private arguments became into public events. Disagreements at work became personal assaults. The dysfunction and animosity that had always been there beneath the surface were exposed when the united front they had put on for the outside world started to fall apart. However, when you see how widespread their identity theft is, the story takes an even more unsettling turn. Someone has been examining you so closely that they have started dressing like your reflection. And this is when things start to get extremely unsettling. In an attempt to pass for your twin, they have been mimicking your speech patterns, mannerisms, and even your religious rituals. This was not unintentional mirroring or casual imitation. On a spiritual level, this was systematic identity theft. After recording your films, transcribing your comments, and examining your energy patterns, the spiritual manipulator presented altered versions of your insights as her own unique ideas. She produced content that was obviously influenced by yours, but it was slightly altered to prevent blatant copying, while retaining the spirit of your genuine insight. This individual started dressing like you, taking on your color scheme, and even imitating your facial expressions and hand movements in her own movies. Anyone who knows your genuine presence would have recognized that she was effectively wearing your energetic signature like a costume, even though the similarities would have appeared coincidental to untrained eyes. To put it bluntly, the truth is still unknown. It has been perverted. It has been suppressed by fear, algorithms, and censorship. But your heart never ceased seeing reality. You're still here for that reason. You never tapped out because of this. Because the simulation glitch was felt underfoot. This world is rigged, you know that. Something extraordinary has been rising from the ashes of their abortive attacks during this terrible time. Your spiritual development has sped beyond your wildest expectations. Every attack they made on your mental health served as a springboard for a greater awareness of yourself. Each falsehood they disseminated about you simply helped to more brilliantly reveal your true self. In ways that even you find surprising, their efforts to separate you from your spiritual source have paradoxically deepened your bond with God. Previously, you might have had trouble telling the difference between complex traps and real opportunities, but now you possess what can only be characterized as supernatural insight. You now have an almost crystal clear understanding of people's genuine motivations. This gift is more than just intuition. It has evolved into a useful superpower that influences all of your choices. This is about someone attempting to actually take your essence, your creative force, your whole identity. It's not simply about imitation being the purest form of flattery. They have been passing off your spiritual gifts as their innate abilities, your thoughts as their own, and your insights as their epiphanies. In their deranged imaginations, they think they can just replace you in the cosmic order and nobody will notice. Someone who can commit this kind of identity theft has a psychological profile that shows quite unsettling levels of selfishness and delusion. They had persuaded themselves that they were truly enhancing your work, that they were taking your unadulterated thoughts and turning them into something that was more acceptable to the general public. They were doing you a favor by taking your thunder, according to their distorted perspective. Their companion, meanwhile, was pursuing the identical identity theft operation from a different perspective. One was trying to duplicate your business strategy and clientele, while the other was imitating your spiritual identity. He researched your service offerings, pricing policies, and marketing tactics, producing what amounted to a fake representation of your whole business brand. A $40 contribution is like the North Star guiding a lost soul at sunset. This identity theft has enormous legal ramifications. They genuinely think they can sue you and seize possession of your artistic creations, spiritual abilities, and very being. The boldness is astounding. Even more amazing, though, is how the cosmos is getting ready to deal with this cosmic injustice. The legal win will be so clear-cut and overwhelming in your favor when all of this is revealed, which will happen very soon, that it will act as a warning to anyone else who might think about crossing a chosen one. The most intriguing part of the entire experience has been witnessing their collaboration break down into acrimonious accusations and treachery. What began as a unified front against you has turned into a frenzied jumble of blame-shifting and finger-pointing. One partner intends to contact you personally, portraying themselves as a savior, after leaving the other partner drowning in the debt they accrued while conspiring against you. Character defects that explain why they were initially attracted to one another and why they were destined to harm one another are exposed by the dissolution of their alliance. Both are essentially self-centered people who could only work together when they had a common opponent. Their true natures became glaringly obvious once their attempts to harm you failed and the strain in their own lives increased. The same somebody who was merely trying to ruin your life is now attempting to portray themselves as your ideal spiritual equal, your ideal business partner, and your perfect counterpart, in the hopes that you won't realize they are the same people who were only trying to bring you down. They are trying to love bomb you with extravagant displays and promises of wealth. This type of psychological gymnastics is so impossible that it is actually astounding how much cognitive dissonance is needed to do it. Their method is classic predatory behavior. Cause the issue, then present yourself as the answer. They now portray themselves as the steady, prosperous business people who can assist you in overcoming all of that turmoil after having helped to bring chaos and confusion into your life. In exchange for their current promises, they are hoping that you are either desperate enough to ignore their previous actions or that you are unaware of their involvement in the attacks. You've changed in ways that are quite astounding throughout this time of hardship. You now have complete faith in your inner guidance, whereas previously you could have doubted your spiritual revelations or questioned your own intuition. Instead of causing self-doubt, the attacks have produced unquestionable self-knowledge. You now know how to distinguish between energy that is being directed at you by other people and energy that you are creating with your own thoughts and feelings. Most individuals need a lifetime to acquire this skill, but need has accelerated your schooling. Malicious intent may now be detected from a great distance, and more significantly, you know how to neutralize it before it has a chance to alter your reality. You are practically immune to their attacks, since the defenses surrounding you have grown so strong and impenetrable. With divine immunity, you navigate their produced storms, like that kid wandering through the zombie apocalypse, utterly unaffected by the chaos around them. They are able to target you and see you, but they are unable to touch you. This immunity has a practical as well as spiritual purpose. You've been making progress in every aspect of your life, while they've been losing followers, money, reputation, and their minds. You may now make money from your spiritual skills in ways you never thought were possible. Like eager suitors, opportunities are lining up at your door, each one more lucrative than the previous. Glowing star, if you want to witness God's miracles, act now. Contribute $100 or more through Super Thank You on YouTube. Your offering is like a seed that comes back to you when planted. Let His light illuminate your steps. Every donation is an echo in His plan. The cosmic irony is that they have improved your reputation in the process of trying to ruin it. Your genuine truth contrasts with their lies, which become more frantic and obvious. Now, people who might not have previously noticed you are curious to find out why everyone is so excited, and they can tell the difference between your real energy and their fake presentations the moment they experience it. All of this is not happening at random. Everything is going to accelerate dramatically in the near future. The universe has been preparing for the day when all of their covert actions are exposed, when justice is done and your actual power is made known to everyone who has been following this cosmic drama. The fact that this era is about elevation rather than merely vindication is what makes it so important. Every difficulty they put in your way, every barrier they put in your way, and every moment of confusion they attempted to cause has been setting you up for something far bigger than they could have ever dreamed. Not only are you surviving their attacks, but they are also changing you into something they never anticipated. The upcoming judicial actions will accomplish more than merely ensuring justice. They will document for the general public the extent to which some people will go in order to deprive chosen individuals of their creative and spiritual vitality. They will create precedents in the law that will shield other talented people from similar assaults. Additionally, they will act as a cosmic lesson regarding the repercussions of waging war on the designated agents of the cosmos. How your true soul family is pulled to you like moths to a flame is the most exquisite aspect of this tale. You will attract people who resonate with your genuine frequency more rapidly if you stay centered in the middle of their contrived storm. Quantity associations are giving way to quality connections, and you'll be amazed at how deep these new connections are. These new individuals in your life are fellow chosen ones who understand your light because they share the same flame within themselves. They are more than just admirers or supporters. They can sense your actual nature behind all the chaos and turmoil others have attempted to create, not because they have done any research or investigation, but rather because they are able to see through the lies that have been disseminated about you. You are going to discover the ideal audience and reward for your spiritual gifts, whether they are teaching skills, healing techniques, creative expression, or intuitive ability. The next monetization opportunities are about more than just earning money. They're about being fairly compensated for the amazing gifts you give the world. Observing how their desperation has rendered them transparent, however, may be the most fulfilling part of the whole affair. They now exude fear and panic in everything they do. Anyone with half a brain can see through the love-bombing tactics because they are so blatant, so awkward, and so desperate. They no longer possess nuance, sophistication, or the capacity to deceive and enchant others. One partner's attempts to reinvent themselves as your savior are especially pitiful. They are now attempting to portray themselves as someone entirely different, someone deserving of your trust and collaboration, after deserting their former ally to deal with the fallout from their joint activities alone. If it weren't so blatantly bound to fail, the cognitive dissonance needed to accomplish this transition would be astounding. The abandoned spouse, meanwhile, is dealing with the music on several levels. Their reputation is irreparably damaged, the debt is crushing them, and the legal repercussions are getting worse every day. All of their lies, rumors, and artistic endeavors that they attempted to pass off as their own are coming back to haunt them. When chosen ones are engaged, The cosmos has a way of making sure that justice is done. They both overlook the fact that attacking someone you've selected isn't the same as attacking someone else. You are surrounded with cosmic protection, not just personal. They declared war on the powers that brought you here for a particular reason when they made that declaration. They might as well have used their own strength to hold back the sunrise, or their bare hands to stop the tide. Every curse they threw at you turned out to be a disguised boon. Every barrier they put in your way served as a springboard to greater heights. All of the lies they told about you simply made you seem more real. On the contrary, they turned into unintentional tools of your ascent, cosmic servants guiding you toward your fate. When you give $50, it is like the seed that falls on the fertile soil in Matthew 13. Not 1/40th will return to you, but perhaps 100th. Even if they thought they were ruining you, the impending legal triumph will do more than only clear your name. It will set a precedent that will safeguard other selected individuals in comparable circumstances. A model for how divine justice functions in the contemporary world has been established by your readiness to stick to your principles, to remain composed in the face of their upheaval, and to neither withdraw nor retaliate. The true tale here, however, is about your metamorphosis, not the drama, the court cases, or the cosmic justice that is about to be served. You've learned to maintain your composure when others are going crazy. You've learned how to maintain contact with your source. You've learned the art of discernment, which allows you to distinguish genuine chances from intricate traps when others are attempting to cut your spiritual lifelines. Above all, you have discovered that you are magic, not in some ethereal, metaphysical sense, but in the most potent, unquestionable, and useful way imaginable. Every room you enter has a different vibe just by your presence. Deception is repelled and abundance is drawn to your genuine vibration. Those who would hurt you cannot touch you because of your spiritual immunity. The period of time ahead will be completely different from anything you have ever encountered. Opportunities will become available more frequently and with more value. There will be rapid and decisive legal victory. Abundant finances will come your way in unexpected ways. Additionally, you will continue to exhibit the same level of composure that has been distracting your adversaries. You will look back on this time as a time of amazing acceleration and progress rather than as a time of attack and persecution as this cosmic drama draws to a close. As the dust settles and the truth is revealed, as justice is delivered and wealth flows. You were polished like gold in a crucible by every difficulty. Your spiritual muscles grew stronger with each assault. Your truth just became more brilliant in compared to all the lies that were told about you. They created you, even though they believed they were destroying you. They were creating you, even though they believed they were shattering you. They were actually starting your tale, even though they believed it was coming to an end. You may now look back on their futile attempts to dull your light and grin, knowing that all they managed to do was make you shine even brighter as you stand on the threshold of all you've been preparing for. You now recognize what they attributed to ill luck as divine purpose.